let's talk about something huge that's happening right under our noses. It's called the private equity roll-up, and we're going to explore why it might be the real reason your vet bill just shot through the roof. So have you had that moment recently? You're looking at a bill from your local vet or maybe your dentist, and you just think, whoa, hold on, where did that service fee come from? You are definitely not alone, and the reason is probably not what you think it is. Okay, let's unravel this thing. It's a mystery that starts right there in your local clinic, but believe me, it leads to a place you would probably never expect. You know, it's so easy to just blame everything on inflation, right? But that's not the whole story here, not even close. What's really happening is your neighborhood is being systematically, well, let's call it optimized by these massive hidden economic forces. So where is all this coming from? Well, you gotta look to the culprit's home turf, Wall Street. It seems they found a brand new obsession. And guess what? It's right there on your main street. The main players here? We're talking about massive private equity funds. These are just gigantic pools of money. And right now, they're chasing profits in what they consider boring, fragmented industries. You know, vets, car washes, HVAC repair, the everyday businesses we all actually rely on. And this analogy just captures the vibe perfectly. It's like a multi-trillion-dollar shopping spree, but instead of sports cars, they're just snapping up all the small businesses that are really the backbone of our local economies. So how are they actually doing this? It's not random. They've got a very specific playbook, and it's called the roll-up strategy. Let's break down exactly what that means. On the surface, it's actually pretty simple. A private equity fund goes out and buys up dozens, sometimes even hundreds, of small, independent businesses all in the same industry. Think of all the local vet clinics in a region. Then they just merge them all into one giant corporate company. Okay, so here's how it works, step by step. First, they acquire all these local businesses. Second, they stick them all under one big corporate umbrella. But step 3, that's the key. They optimize. And that's a nice word for centralizing everything and squeezing out every last possible cent of profit. And then finally, step 4. They sell this new giant company they've created for a massive, massive return. But wait a minute, right? How in the world can they afford to buy up hundreds of businesses? They're definitely not using their own cash. This whole thing is being powered by insane amounts of debt, and it's coming from a really shadowy corner of the financial world. It's an industry called private credit. This is basically lending that happens completely outside the normal banking system. And the scale here is just staggering. This industry has absolutely exploded. It's grown 10x since the last financial crisis. And man, this analogy just nails it. Private credit offers fast, easy money for these buyouts, but it comes with sky-high interest rates and really tough conditions. It's basically rocket fuel for this strategy, but it is incredibly, incredibly risky. Okay, so what does all this mean for you, when you just need to take your dog to the vet? Well, this is where it really hits home. It's called the profit squeeze. Think about it like this. On one side, you've got your old local vet, probably run by someone you know, someone from the community, who has been focused on taking care of animals for decades. And then, on the other side, you've got the new clinic, owned by a private equity fund. Now, every single decision is being filtered through a spreadsheet with one goal, maximizing returns for shareholders. So what does that look like in practice? Well, suddenly you're seeing these new, mysterious service fees pop up on your bill. You might feel this weird shift from focusing on quality care to just upselling you on things. They'll talk a big game about convenience, but that's often just a cover for getting you to sign up for a new payment plan or a line of credit. It's a system where the story they tell to investors, that matters way more than the actual financial health of the business. All right, let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about your vet bill. All of that incredibly risky debt we talked about, it's created a massive systemic risk for everyone. We could seriously be looking at $1 trillion hangover. Yep, $1 trillion. That's a 1 with 12 zeros. For years, when interest rates were basically zero, this was all manageable. But now that the era of free money is over, these companies that are loaded with debt are in some very serious trouble. And this really sums up the danger perfectly. It's a giant game of hot potato. The private equity firms are just hoping they can sell the company before all that debt comes due. If they can't, the whole thing could just collapse. And while that music is playing, you're the one paying for it all through higher prices and all those new fees. So Here's the bottom line. The biggest risks to our economy? They're not always the things being yelled about on the news. Sometimes they're the quiet changes happening right in front of our eyes, at the places we count on every single day. So next time you pay that vet bill, just remember this. Your dog, your pet, is now officially a player in a very large, very risky global financial game. And it leaves us with one big question. What happens to all of us, our communities, our local services, and, yeah, our pets when the music finally stops?